United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'd like to open up our meeting tonight at 5:34 p.m. And let's go ahead and start with a roll call. Commissioner Brewer.
Here.
Commissioner Kane. Absent. Commissioner Clement.
Here.
Commissioner Franklin.
Here.
Commissioner Mead. Absent. Commissioner Echegon.
Here.
And I'm Commissioner Couch, and I am here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. All right. We will now open up public comment at, again, 5:34 p.m. I'll just read a brief statement here. Public comment will be in accordance with attached policy. This time is reserved for members of the audience to address the Planning Commission on items of interest that are not on the agenda and are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Commission. It is recommended that speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes each, and it is requested that no comments be made during this period on items on the agenda. The Commission is prohibited by law from taking any action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda. Prior to addressing the Commission, any handouts for Commission will be provided to the Commission Secretary for distribution to the Commission and appropriate staff. The public will have an opportunity to comment on items on the agenda once the item has been called and the chair opens the item to the public. So I made a mistake. I apologize. Now we're opening up to public comment 5:35. I don't see anybody. Do you have any letters, emails, anything? No? Okay. And we will close public comment at 5:35. Item number 4 will go to approval of minutes. So we need to approve the regular minutes from July 8th, 2024. That was our last meeting. Do I have a first on the, oh wait, commissioners, have you had a chance to review the minutes? All right. Do I have a first to approve the minutes?
After looking at it, the best of my memory, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
We got a first by Commissioner Echegon and a second by Commissioner Brewer. We'll go ahead and do the vote. Commissioner Clement. Yes. Commissioner Franklin. Commissioner Brewer.
Yes.
Commissioner Echegon.
Aye.
And I'm Commissioner Couch, and I vote aye as well. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move to item number 5. Public hearing, public comment, consideration for adoption of resolution number 2025-01, approving conditional use permit number 2024-03, a request by, is it Parma Petroleum, to allow the on-site sale of alcoholic beverages for off-site consumption at 25 South 19th and a half Avenue in the city of Lemoore. All right, all yours, Steve.
Good evening, commissioners. Steve Brandt, city planner. This is a conditional use permit related to sale of alcoholic beverages. The site in question is the existing Chevron at 19 and a half and Bush. As you know, it's been there for a number of years. It has had in its original permit approval, it got approval for sale of beer and wine only for offsite consumption. And this conditional use permit would allow them to also sell the hard liquor. So the difference is a type 20 ABC license is beer and wine only. Type 21 is all 3 types. In looking at this, the city ordinance code has some findings that need to be made. Some of them are related to other types of uses that are that may be nearby. So our analysis is that there's not any parks, schools, or religious land uses within 500 feet of the site. And so you would be able to make that finding. And then you need to make findings that the site's suitable and that that there's a public necessity or convenience to having this available. In reviewing this, all the city manager and all the directors have reviewed that, and they feel confident that they would accept those findings and would allow this to be there if you so choose to approve the permit. So we are recommending approval with the, according to the resolution in here that would make the findings, and then there's some standard conditions for them obtaining proper ABC license and everything. So open for any questions. And Christy didn't even do the PowerPoint. This one's not exciting though. It was regular
No,
run of the mill.
It looks awesome. Oh, from beginning, right to the left there. Yeah. There you go.
So that's CUP number.
Yep.
Go ahead, keep going. This is the site. So that's the
Okay.
chevron southwest corner of the intersection.
So the Chevron, it's just, there's new ownership, correct?
I don't know. Is there new ownership? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So no physical changes that they're, at least no exterior physical changes that
Yeah.
they're proposing at this time.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably know or have an estimate as far as projections, like the increased amount of revenue that this would bring. Do we know like what this could, an estimate of what this would do for the city as far as taxes?
We don't know. We don't make that estimate. Obviously, yeah, it would be an increase in sales tax if they're selling more alcohol, sure. And
Do we look at data for like DUIs or incidents around that area?
I don't know if the police chief looks at that. The one thing the only thing we really look at is the concentration of the number of businesses that sell alcohol in a certain area. And it's by census tract. And so when it goes over a certain threshold, that's when we require that you make the finding that there's a need for this.
Mm.
So
Is that for safety or is it to make things fair for the vendors?
I think it's more for safety. It's a state law. My understanding is the intent is so that there would not be an over concentration in one particular area. In my opinion, the law makes more sense in larger cities. I mean, I think we only have 3 census tracts in our city, so it's not like it's dividing up the city very much. So
Do you know, does Arco and 7-Eleven right there, are they licensed, was it type 21 or type 20? Which one is it? Oh, type 21.
type 21,
Is that why you have to give us the findings? Is you said there was a concentration,
I think
Are-
Adolfo's is the only one in that intersection that has liquor.
the store over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, again, it said it's based on census tract, and I think
Oh,
the
so
tract
it's not,
covers about 1/3 of the city.
right, it's not, okay.
It's not just
immediate
right
vicinity.
there, yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Cool.
Yeah, because you've got Best Buy and a few other places on that side of town that
Mhm.
That sell, yeah.
sell liquor.
And I believe that the new station on the other side of 41, we
Yes, you gave that,
proposed a type 21 license.
you
for
gave that
Yeah.
use permit for
Last
type
meeting.
21 about a year or so ago.
Mm.
I don't know, from a safety standpoint, I don't think it makes a difference because if somebody wants to drink and drive, if they can't get it at Chevron, they're gonna go to Adolfo's or they're just gonna go to a neighboring store and do exactly what they were gonna do anyways, but I get the over concentration concern.
Yeah. All
And-
right.
And I don't know about increased revenue because it's just giving people another option of where to go to get it. But I don't know whether you're gonna draw more people to buy more alcohol. Just my opinion on that.
I think from a fairness standpoint for business, I would say approve it. because, to allow one business to have the opportunity and another one not without having good justification for it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
All right.
So you still need to
So-
have you still need to have a public hearing.
Yep.
But
We still need to open it to
Yeah.
the public. That is just itching to get up there. So, all right. I'd like to open up item number 5 to public comment at 5:44 PM. And, oh, here she comes. Oh, that's awesome.
Actually, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know what is the concentration for a census area? How many license they allow? You don't know.
Yeah, I was contacted by agencies.
we were, okay.
Okay, I was just curious what that number might
No,
be.
It used to be easier, the ABC used to have a website. They used to have a nice website with a map and you could go in and you could say, show me all the permits in Lemoore.
Mhm.
And it was great. I used it for a number of years and then one day they just shut it down and stopped using it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's a little
Okay.
harder to find. You can, now I think the best you can get is a spreadsheet that just lists the addresses. So
And so not a map or anything.
not a map, so it's
Yeah.
a little harder. So
Okay. Yeah. So if you haven't heard from them, yeah, they don't have concerns. Mhm.
Follow-up question, since I didn't use all my 3 minutes. Do we know what the barriers of that area are? Of the census tract?
now off the top of my head, but I can get you a map of it. So I can get you.
I'm just thinking maybe potential future growth. That's just my only question. So,
All right.
and by the way, I'm Patricia Matthews, resident, City of Lemoore.
Yes. All right.
I'm not sure, but if I'm not mistaken, we kind of went through some of this discussion a few months ago. And somehow somebody told us that ABC doesn't have the restriction. They put that on each
Oh, is it on the municipality?
municipalities, yeah.
All right. Do you have any emails, anything like that? Okay. We'll close item number 5 to public comment at 5:46. All right, commissioners, discussion.
Joey made a good point as far as fairness goes.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
business people are gonna be free to do whatever, try and do stuff.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I like following the recommendation of the police chief and everybody that's already done the homework on this. And they feel good about it. So, and all the laws and regulations are followed. So, all right. We'll go ahead and open it up for a vote for item number 5 to, do I need to say anything about the findings or anything like that? Any special wording that you know of? Okay. What's that? Just adoption? Okay. Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. All right. Do I have a recommendation to approve item number 5? Anybody like to do a first on that?
I can do it first on it.
Okay. Do I have a second? Yeah, to approve.
Yeah, approve item 5.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Hold on real quick here. All right. I have a first and a second to approve item number 5. We'll go ahead and take a vote. Commissioner Clement.
aye,
Let's see, Commissioner Echegon,
aye.
Commissioner Franklin.
Aye.
Commissioner Brewer,
Aye.
and I'm Commissioner Couch, and I vote aye as well. The resolution passes. The motion was made by Commissioner Brewer. Seconded was Franklin. All right, you okay if we move on? Okay, item number 6, public hearing Public comment consideration for the adoption of resolution number 2025-02 approving tentative parcel map number 2024-01. A request by J Verk Holdings LLC to divide an existing 4.21 acre parcel into four parcels and a remainder located at the southeast corner of West Bush Street and is that a Acacia Drive in the
Acacia.
city of Lemoore? What's that?
Acacia.
Acacia. All right, Steve, it's all yours.
Thank you, Steve Brandt, City Planner. This is what we're bringing before you as a parcel map to divide the site into four parcels. Staff has been working with this developer for several months on the site plan, which is also in your packet. That I believe it's, yeah, site plan's in your packet. So it shows the parcel would be divided into four parcels and then to be a remainder parcel. So really 5 parcels. This is part of of the larger shopping center area that includes the DeVita Dialysis and the Dollar General. And then will include the car wash and gas station mini mart that you've already approved. So the site plan, as we've reviewed it, we've worked with the developer to ensure that when this is all done, that all the sites will be able to, you'll be able to drive from one to the other without going back onto the street. So all the driveways will be connected. And then there was already been a requirement that the entire site have a shared access and parking agreement. So you can park on one in front of one store and go to the other, even if it's on a different parcel. And so this developer's been made aware of that and is playing along with that. So there would be access from both streets from Bush and Acacia. It'll probably be built in phases with the buildings along Bush Street built first. The applicant that requested to be able to phase some of the frontage improvements and to not have to build all of Acacia Street, curb and gutter and sidewalk when he's not building those buildings yet. And so we looked at that and came up with a condition, which is condition 2, that talks about how the frontage improvements would be phased. And so that condition is acceptable to both the applicant and the Public Works Department. The other conditions are pretty much standard. Oh, there is one new one. Last year, the council changed their policies about public facilities maintenance districts. They're now using community facilities districts, which is a different part of state law. It kind of does the same thing, but it allows more flexibility to allow us to collect more for maintenance of infrastructure and also to provide some money to police and fire for operations. So, and it will apply to commercial sites, whereas before we were only applying it to residential subdivisions. So we have a condition that they develop a community facilities district with this project. With that, I'm open to any questions. And I'll say the site plan has been approved and they're currently going through the building permit process. I think they're in second plan check. Is that? Yes, just for the 2 northerly buildings that are adjacent to Bush Street, not the entire part.
Are they gonna build it or are they looking for builders are they looking for buyers? Or are they gonna build it?
Based on how they've been acting, it sounds like they will be leasing. They'll be owning the sites and leasing it. And so they have tenants for the first 2 buildings, which is why they're going through the building permit process on those. They don't have tenants yet for the other buildings.
So wait, when you say the first 2 buildings, are you talking about the parcels or the actual buildings we already approved? You're talking about like
No,
parcel
we're
A?
talking about the 2 parcels on this.
Oh, parcel A and parcel
Yeah,
C.
in addition to the car wash and the mini
okay.
mart.
Why is the one called remainder? Is that because it might be split later or something? They didn't.
Yeah, I don't know that he had to call it a remainder.
Oh, okay.
In for residential subdivisions or parcel maps, you can only divide it into 4 lots and a remainder.
Oh, I
So,
gotcha.
But for commercial, that doesn't really apply. So he could have called it parcel 5 and it still would have been valid.
I gotcha. Okay.
The other one, the car wash.
Yeah.
That was, so he bought that, and then did he sell it to somebody else? I'm supposed to be building something?
That's Verk now, right? Or no? Okay. So they're looking for someone to sell it or to build it and sell it to.
Ultimately, my question is this a form of land flipping? And then are we gonna be left with multiple parcels without buyers
Well,
and without development?
Yeah.
but I don't think so. Not ultimately. I mean, sometimes it takes longer to find tenants than the developers hope, but a lot of times it's chicken and egg. They can't get a tenant to sign on the dotted line till they know they have all their approvals from the city. So he's going through his due diligence. He's getting everything he needs from us, and then he's got to find tenants.
Cause this move, if approved by us,
Mhm.
almost instantaneously increases that value. By how much? This puts quite a large portion of equity in their pocket just by splitting the parcels, right?
I would say, yeah, that's true of just about every development we approve.
I mean, should we not have some sort of commitment that some action is gonna take place?
We already have Starbucks going in on.
I
the
saw
front.
that Starbucks, huh?
Okay.
I was wondering why that lot was shaped the way it was. It's because of the drive-through.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like, that is the weirdest shape. Yeah.
Yeah, it's things will happen.
So you said the first two. So Starbucks, they're going to pull a permit on that one. And what is it? Is it building number 2 that actually they're going to start pulling a permit on? The one just south of Starbucks? I thought you said there's 2 building. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Is that going to be a building for multiple tenants?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
So it'll be a shell building and then he'll get tenant improvements.
Gotcha.
So the building, because I see the Starbucks, but the other building, and maybe I just missed what you guys were.
Sorry,
referring to.
yeah,
Is that a drive-through on the backside of that one?
There's
as
a
well?
drive-through on, the third building is shaded all black. And there's a drive-through behind it. For one of the tenants there.
Hmm.
And then there's 2 larger buildings to the far south.
Yeah.
Is tonight an analysis of the plans or not necessarily? It's just a review of whether that.
Not real, I mean, technically, the request to you is to approve the parcel map,
Yeah.
but it's understandable that you can't really do one without us showing you the other of what you're gonna get if you approve this.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Any other questions or anything? We can open it up.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
one question, I guess just on the status of the car wash. Yeah, do we know what's happening with the car wash?
He's looking to find someone to buy the entitlements, build it and run it.
Hmm.
Cause he doesn't want to run the car wash.
Yeah.
He'll build it for them and then sell it to them.
Yeah.
How much is the city gonna spend on infrastructure for this development? Or do we know, or have we committed to paying for any of the infrastructure?
No, because the curb and gutter and the sidewalk, he would be
Yep.
responsible to build.
City doesn't like to pay for any of that.
We try not to have to pay for
They
that
will have them pay for
on
it.
undeveloped sites.
Yep. That's the great thing that Bill. Okay.
And I believe, we haven't talked about this lately, but DaVita has had a requirement from when they were approved to redo their frontage
Mhm.
now that there's other development happening.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, commissioners? I can open it up for public comment. Okay.
I just wanted
Oh,
to
go ahead.
ask Steve real quick. So to the new part, are they using the driveway off of G Street or Bush Street, I'm sorry, to access also from DeVita? Or no?
Looks like it's a
There will be
shared.
there'll be another drive approach between Acacia and the Davita drive approach.
Okay,
But because all the parcels will have driveway connections, if you wanted to, you could turn in at Davita and eventually get to Starbucks.
but there will be another one.
Yeah, so there'll be two. So there'll be three total. Because there'll be one,
One on Acacia?
well, there'll be one on Acacia, there'll be one in front of the Starbucks, one in front of Davita, and one in front of the car wash.
Oh, okay.
And they'll all be connected. What? Well, to the right of the Starbucks.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right. We will open up item number 6 to public comment at 6 o'clock. Christine, oh, sorry. So sorry.
Sorry, I know you're not used to anybody being here.
Go ahead.
Patricia Matthews, resident of City of Lemoore. I just have a clarifying question. Where it says the phasing and it's expected that parcels A and C will develop first. The part where it says street frontage of the portions of parcels B and C shall be constructed when their respective parcels are developed or soon, if not sooner. Which portions are those on the map? C's in the middle. That's why I had a question.
Maybe I used the wrong letters.
Is it B and D?
A would go first. Like the frontage along A. And then B and D would happen.
As it was developed?
When those are developed. Change that.
As a resident, that walks the city, lack of sidewalk is an issue. Not even just here, just all over the city. So I get why they would delay it, but that is an issue that we're facing currently. So just want to voice that. But I get when it comes to development.
They did request because.
Yeah, I don't think you're on.
Financial.
Yeah.
reasons, yes.
Yeah, that's a big thing, but it will be more sidewalk than we have now. So with that other part being developed, so that's helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Emails, anything like that come in? No? Okay. All right. With that, we will close public comment at 6:02. And we'll open up commissioners' discussion time.
I agree with what Mayor Matthews said about the sidewalk. It'd be nice if that was all the way down. So there would be sidewalk all the way, because some people are gonna walk on sidewalk, then they're gonna walk in the dirt, then they get back on sidewalk again. But I understand about the financial situation they're in also, so at least we have something going there.
If I may, Chairman Couch,
Yes.
since you're bringing it up, one thing I have seen done in some other cities is you ask the developer to lay down just a temporary asphalt
Yeah.
sidewalk.
And then they'll bring it up later.
And then they'll pick it up later and put in the permanent sidewalk later. You could require that. And then also just the change from C to D in that condition.
I'd like to see that added.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be a temporary solution.
Yeah,
Well, any idea? Well, I'm gonna ask Steve, and you probably may not know any idea what the cost of that would be for a temporary. I mean,
I don't-
he's saying financial.
I don't know. I couldn't give you a number, but order of magnitude, if they're already out there pouring asphalt,
Yeah,
they'll have a little bit to be able to do it. If they weren't pouring any asphalt, they would be a lot more expensive to tell them to bring in asphalt.
the thing is, and I'll just say this from experience. So the reason for sidewalks is, for pedestrians and stuff, but when we pour temporary asphalt, everything that you see there will have to be ADA compliant. Okay, so we got a sidewalk that goes on parcel A and it's going to stop at parcel B. The time has to be taken and the expense to still, even if it's temporary. So in California, you can't pour something and not make it ADA. You just can't. You can't do that. It's not fair. It's not, the building code is specific about that. So
Sorry, not to interrupt,
yeah,
because I honestly don't have a clue. It's for a lot of ADA, but so ADA like on a site, is it a matter of width? Is it a matter of what determines ADA compliance on like a?
so ADA
Walkway.
compliance on that would be width, slope, packness, like they can't be, they'd have to make it firm foundation before they put it on because you can't have any cracks. You can't have anything over a 1/4 inch crack or anything like that. Wheelchairs, the front wheels will catch that. So it's probably a little bit more than just, hey, lay down some asphalt. If they're going to do it and take the time, they're probably just going to want to do it and get it done. So we're looking at basically 120 feet across parcel B and 150 feet basically on parcel D with a drive approach down there also. Yeah.
What could we float the idea to them? I mean, like to your point about them already being out there, I mean, they're gonna be doing compaction on the
Yeah.
parking lot, so they're gonna have the equipment to pack that walkway and maybe it's not as costly as it may seem.
Sorry, I'm going to pull up a map.
And this
of
is
that.
Yeah,
why
'cause-
we always recommend that applicants show up to the hearing.
I know, it'd be
I know.
nice.
It would have been, yeah, it would have been nice. I'm just curious how many sidewalks in the city are ADA compliant with what he just said.
Well, that's, I know. That comes into the existing. But anything you do now has to be.
As long as nobody says it.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the map. I apologize. Oh, yeah, there's nothing over there. Okay,
Yeah, it's
wow.
just dirt. That's what's interesting is it would be okay if we left it. But the state says if we try to do anything.
It
then
has to be
then it has
ADA
to be
compliant.
ADA
Yeah.
compliant.
Commissioners, my recommendation, and again, I not to be the lone wolf here. Is it's already dirt now. And somebody that has experience in construction, they're going to set a budget on this and they're always going to go over budget. I think I'm just grateful that they're willing to start developing. I think once people see Starbucks going in, you're going to immediately, and you're going to see development want to come in right away next to Starbucks. You're going to see that traffic increase. And then we may not be looking at too long before parcel B and parcel D get developed.
Yeah, we'd hope. Yeah, I think if they have to go through all those hoops and make it compliant, then I wouldn't,
Yeah.
I wouldn't ask them of that then.
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be better than what's there, but.
I know.
apparently-
Yeah.
Apparently that's not good enough.
So it'll just stop at the south lot line of parcel A, correct?
Yeah. Probably a little bit, but not significantly.
Okay. Yeah.
Something else you could do, I mean, it's written right, the way that it's written right now, it's like when B develops, you have to do the B frontage. When D develops, you have to do the D frontage. You could say that whenever the next one
B
develops,
goes in, it
you
all
do
gets
B
done.
and D.
Yeah. Or
Was that what it?
it
Oh,
is. So that first phase, you can stop at A. Anything after that, it's already made it. So it's already in there. Okay.
when, well, no, I need to change the wording a little bit. When,
You would think if they do that, it would be more cost effective. They do. It's just under 300 feet
Hmm.
instead of doing 120 and then 150 later.
so you'd probably say the street frontage of the portions of parcels B and D shall be constructed when the next parcel after A or C is developed. A and C is developed.
Okay.
Or you could say the net, when parcels B, D, or remainder are developed.
B and or D is developed.
Yeah,
I mean, in history, would anybody do parcel D and skip B, or is that not, that's not a solution, right? They have to just, they're probably going to do A and C
yeah,
and
we
then
wouldn't
go.
want that.
Yeah. That would really actually not look good.
So B or D. B, B, D, or remainder.
Oh, okay. No, makes sense. And I appreciate the long drive-through. There's nothing worse than traffic being backed up, into parking lots. Yeah,
Yeah,
nice long
yeah,
drive-through there.
where they put something that has a drive-through that fits 2.5 cars.
Yeah, the current Starbucks over there is a nightmare, isn't it? By Little Caesar sometimes.
Yeah. Just when they're open.
Yeah.
Or we have a minimum standard of 180 feet
Okay.
from the window.
Yeah.
I think this one exceeds it
Yeah,
pretty
it
well.
does.
The businesses like Starbucks and Dutch Bros, they understand that their lines can get really long. So a lot of
Mhm.
times they'll exceed it.
And so that's why the windows on the south side there increases as much as they can on that drive-through.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, real quick on B, oh no, parcel C, it looks like they're going to put a drive-through over there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Potentially, okay. So a business is not they don't have a business in mind yet, but it's anything, okay. Does that meet the 180 feet? Right there? I see
I believe
120.
so. Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
From the window there? I'm showing
Yeah, because
120
we would have
feet.
we reviewed it a few months ago.
Oh, did you? Right here. There's a drive-through down here. Are they? Okay. Okay. Commissioners, any other comments, suggestions, concerns? So Steve, just to, oh, sorry, were you gonna say something?
Nope.
Is there wording in there right now that does say B, D, or remainder? Once it's
No,
developed,
you
the
need to
curb,
change it in your motion. It needs
Okay.
to say the street frontage of the portions of parcels B and D shall be constructed when parcels B, D, or remainder are developed.
gotcha. Right. Great. All right, commissioners, do I have a motion to approve? Let's see, number 6 here, item number 6 with a motion.
Just see if I'm on the right one here. Yeah, I'll make the motion to adopt resolution number 2025-02, approving the parcel map number 2024-01, with including findings and conditions and the changes.
Of,
I don't need to read all those, do I?
You could just say the changes that I.
The changes
stated.
that we recommended.
gotcha. All right, I have a first. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. All right, let's take a vote. Commissioner Brewer,
Aye.
Mr. Clement,
Aye.
Commissioner Franklin,
Aye.
Commissioner Echegon,
Aye.
and I'm Commissioner Couch. I vote aye as well. Motion has passed. All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I just discovered my truck's unlocked. Can I go?
yes, we're gonna take a short break. Go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah, of course. All right, we're gonna move on to item number 7. Public comment and consideration for adoption of resolution number 2025-03, recommending approval of zoning text amendment number 2025-01. Amendments initiated by the city of Lemoore to add section 9-5F-9 electronic billboards and to modify sections as you can see. All right, Steve, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a package of zoning text amendments that we're proposing. There's 3 topics in here. The first one is the most complicated. I'm going to go through that one first, and then we'll go through the other 2. The first one is related to billboards. So over the past, I don't know, year, we've had requests for billboards along the highways. The city right now, the city does not allow new billboards. The ones that are existing, the smaller, older ones, predated the zoning ordinance that prohibited them. And so they're allowed to remain, but no new ones are allowed. Given that we're on 2 state highways, traffic is increasing, and there seems to be an interest in these. We're bringing to you I guess an electronic billboard ordinance that would set up a system where they could be approved. What we wanted to do is set up something that didn't give preference to any specific site, but set the framework in place, and then whoever wants to try to take advantage of this could apply for a conditional use permit. We would bring it to you, and then you could decide if you liked that particular billboard. So what I'm going to do is kind of go through the framework that we've set up, because we don't want it to be a free for all. We don't want it to all of a sudden be tons of billboards everywhere, and we want them to look nice. So the first thing we're proposing is that only the electronic billboards be allowed. So these are the ones that are electronic and change their message. And we put a limitation that it has to be changed. It can't change more than once every 6 seconds, which has kind of become a standard for billboards. Except in Selma, if you drive through there and you see some of those. We're saying that as of right now, the ordinance will be limited to 4 total at the most. So the first 4 that get conditional use permits, the 5th one we wouldn't bring to you. And that they would only be allowed in the light industrial zone, the regional commercial zone, and the parks and ponding basin zone, which the only area along the highway that has parks is a city-owned property. So there's a map. If you go to the map. Thought so. Oh, there it is. Okay. So
Hmm.
the dark black lines would show the areas along the highways that they could be allowed based on the standards we put in place. So the standards are that only in those zones they must be located, they must be 1,000 feet from another billboard and 300 feet from any highway oriented sign, like the ones that are already out there, like Maverick sign or something like that. And they have to be at least 200 feet or less from the highway.
Hmm.
So there's this distance and then the linear distance. And then and so those are absolutes. And then even with that, there are findings that you would have to make saying that this is not going to be detrimental to surrounding properties, especially residential properties, if there's any nearby. And it wouldn't create a traffic or a safety problem, wouldn't be hazardous, or would not cause light or glare to intrude upon residential uses. So you would make those findings when you approve a use permit. And if you don't feel like you can make those findings, then you would deny the use permit. We've also got design standards. It would be, do I have them in here? They're in the code.
Which would give us the max size usually.
It'd give you a max size, a maximum height.
Is there an advertisement restriction at all? Like it has to be,
That's
We're
the
doing
one
it
thing we
to the
can't
city.
restrict.
Oh,
Because we can't,
is it
because
freedom of speech?
First Amendment,
First
freedom
Amendment.
of speech.
Yep.
So that's important to note that because I've heard that question many times. Here is like, well, can we just limit it to Lemoore businesses? And so the answer is no. Once you open up, once you allow a billboard, they can say whatever they want on it. We do have something in there that say it doesn't require it at this point, but if you want to do this with the use permit approval, you can put a condition on it that says that they have to allow a certain amount of access to the city to put public announcements or anything like that on the city if we
That's
want
right.
to. And they have to allow things like the Amber Alerts and things like that to go on them.
yeah, this one, no, go ahead, sorry.
So there's a number of design standards, like, that they need to keep it in good working order, not buzzing. There's a light standard, which is in an industry standard. They have to also get approval from Caltrans, which is standard for any billboard along a state highway. So what we feel like we've done is set up a process by which you can approve up to 4 billboards on the highway. And that's all it is right now. It's a process, and then we will see what type of applications come in. But based on the conversations we've had, we think there will be people that will apply.
I think right away.
Probably right away.
Yeah. Yep.
But you said after the 4th one, then it's no more approval.
Yes, and so the way the ordinance is written, it says that we will accept up to 4, and the acceptance is if you have a complete application, that puts you first in line. Second one that has a complete application is second in line.
So we're limiting it to 4.
We're limiting it to 4 right now in the ordinance. If later on down the road, the council wants to open it up to more, all they'd have to do is change that code to a different number.
Can one company come in and apply for all 4?
I suppose they could,
Okay,
yeah. But they'd have to be on different sites.
Yeah.
Because of the distance
Right.
separation. So
Actually,
and one of the main things that we require for a complete application is a written authorization from the property owner.
and they probably just lease that space
Then
or
they
whatever,
lease the
whatever they
space.
said.
So in dealing with, I've had some limited experience with dealing with billboard approvals in other cities, and that's always the key thing for the billboard companies is can they get the property owner to sign off on it
Mhm.
first,
Mm,
and then they come to the city. And so a lot of times they'll try to tie up spaces because their lease will likely say that they can't lease to anybody else.
mhm.
And I think so far it's been the property owners talking to us,
Wanting this.
but they will likely go with, there's probably about 4 billboard companies in the valley that
Yeah,
all jockey for position.
Do we have applicants already?
No, no one has applied. There's just been inquiries.
Yeah, I mean, for the parcel owner, it's, I mean, if I own that property, I'd love the idea because it's revenue. For the owner of the.
Yeah, it's just,
yeah.
it's just straight revenue every month.
why did the number 4, the limit of 4, where did that come from?
It-
You just chose
It just,
4?
we just chose it because it
Okay,
was
no,
kind of
just
like
wondering.
looking at how much space we have available.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You don't want to say 10 because if you do 10, it's probably going to be 10 immediately, you know.
And we
Gotcha.
don't know how it's gonna work out, and if you tell us to change it to 6, we'll change it to 6. If the council tells us to change it back to 4, we'll change it back to 4. So
Yeah,
it's not it wasn't done mathematically. It was a feel good number.
gotcha.
Of course
Oh.
you do.
Actually, I should,
No, go ahead. It's not on, but go ahead.
So what if, let's just say like in property. What if the sign company gets that, but then the property's undeveloped, and let's say it's a few acres, and now we have. What do we do when we have a few acres that, is there anything to prohibit? To make it work so that they can't take possession of the whole property? That maybe saying that, you know what I'm saying, like the sign company is gonna lease the whole property. And then nothing ever gets built there because there's a sign there.
Oh,
And is there anything to help with that?
I don't think that they would, because Kevin King would charge them a lot of money to lease it all, but yeah.
It's kind of like I don't know how much it is, if it's maybe an acre, or so, but it'll be around, but there's nothing else you can do really.
Yeah.
It's not gonna do anything else with property, but it gets kind of defined there. Is there anything that like in those situations where at least you need to do some sort of.
Yeah, no, you gave me a chance to think, so I've got a better answer than my first answer. We will, as part of the application, we'll ask them to show us the area that they're leasing. And if we don't like it, we won't approve the use permit.
okay. If no other questions, let's open it up to.
Oh,
I guess that's.
Sorry, that's just part 1 of this ordinance
Oh,
change.
go ahead, sorry.
So
Yeah.
does anybody want to talk about, let's talk about the billboard and then I'll go to the other 2. They're a lot quicker.
I was just thinking again about 1,000 feet, that's far enough when driving in the car, like 60, 70 miles an hour?
Yeah,
won't be too,
that's a number that I see in a lot of ordinances.
Oh, okay.
So it's a good number. Now I don't know if it was scientifically derived. I do know that the 6-second rule was scientifically devised. There was a study. I think Caltrans did it several years ago when electronic billboards became a thing. Because they didn't want you're reading it and then another one comes up and you're trying to read that one too. They didn't want people to be distracted and take their eye off the road for too long. And so the idea was If it's every 6 seconds, a driver will likely only see one message.
Mhm. Okay,
Okay,
yes.
so the other two parts, Christy and I have been, talking about mobile food vendors for a while. At one point, we thought about making several changes to it, and I think we settled on a smaller change. Currently, the city does allow semi-permanent mobile food vendors, basically taco trucks, with a permit, with a staff level permit. But there's several standards they have to meet. One of them is a separation from brick and mortar restaurants. So right now it's 1,000 feet.
Mhm.
With the increased interest in mobile food trucks, we're finding that there aren't that many places that a truck could park that's 1,000 feet from another restaurant, because they do have to be in a commercial zone. So our proposal to you and then to the council would be to change that 1,000-foot limitation to 500 feet. And just we looked at a few sites where we think they might want to go. 500 feet opens up several more locations that would be workable. So the balance with the mobile food trucks, which every city has to deal with, is you want to support them, but you also want to support the brick and mortar restaurants. And if the brick and mortar restaurants feel like the city's over supporting the food trucks, they're going to complain and they're going to say, hey, we pay property taxes. We
Mhm.
have an investment in a building. And then you allow a food truck to come park right next to me and compete with me. So that's why cities have the distance separation, and the number is different all in every city. And so we want to see if you want to change it from 1,000 to 500. So it would open it up more, but not a lot more.
So if it's within 500, the food truck's still gonna have to have approval from whoever owns the property.
Yes, they do have to have approval from the property owner to park in their parking lot. And it will likely be a business that doesn't sell food, because it would not be otherwise it wouldn't be within 500, it'd be closer to than 500 feet, unless it's a very large site.
And that's the only restriction right now is the 1,000 foot.
There's several restrictions
Yeah,
that
'cause
has to
I'm
be.
surprised because we don't.
We have to okay the place that they park to make sure that their traffic flows well through the parking lot that they park in. We have to, they have to show that they've got the proper permits from county health department. They have to show that they have a commissary contract, like a place to store their food. So because they can't store the food in the truck.
And they're approved by temporary use permit, so they're not.
Yeah, because I think the only one in town is the one at Adolfo's. Yeah.
Is it really?
So
Okay.
I'll say it's 500 feet, so say Best Buy Market, they still would not be able to have a food truck there, because you have Boston Pizza, just to kind of give you like the radius.
Yeah, okay.
Boston Pizza across the street. Barista's,
Los Juanes. Yeah.
is, like within
So what?
like 500 feet is quite ways.
So like a Subway inside of a gas station would be considered. So that 500 foot rule would apply to even that.
They can be within 500 feet of one, but not two. So if you have another food truck or another restaurant, they can be within 500 feet of that, but not more than one.
Well, I also see on here, the second line, the changes also allow for more than one vendor to operate on the same site. So that'd be a part of a change also.
Yes.
So you mean like multiple food trucks at one location?
Yes.
So how do we
Yeah.
keep a lot from turning into
To a lot.
yeah,
court?
basically, yeah,
The,
a huge food court lot.
doing that would require a conditional use permit. So
Damn.
that's why we'd bring it to you. You'd have a site plan to look at, see if you want to
For
approve
each
it.
one.
It doesn't sound like it's gonna open up too many opportunities just based on all the other restrictions that you have
Actually,
listed.
500 feet years ago, they tightened things up considerably.
Mm.
And changed it 1,000 feet because there was staff and I guess council that didn't want food trucks at all. So this was
Yeah.
put in to pretty much prove it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're not a Clovis or any of these other big cities, but I think it might be good to relax some of the restrictions on food trucks, the popularity that's becoming, the food truck craze is just, I think that there might come a time that we want to be able to allow, like we joked, a food court of trucks, but a lot of towns have that now, where they have a designated area that's strictly for
Yeah,
food truck vendors and people love it.
one of the most popular I know was when I lived up in Portland. It was a whole city block.
Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
crazy, not crazy bad. My concern is when you can open up more than one vendor on the same site and they come for a conditional use permit to us. What guidelines can we go off of though? Like now we're going off of opinion. Oh, it's too crowded. What is too crowded? So a guideline or a max on the same lot is something I would probably ask for.
Or within so many square feet.
Yeah, or yeah, per square foot. The lot is 10,000 square feet. You
Yeah.
can only have maybe one per 3,000 square. I don't know.
Yeah, because the lots of,
But they can, it's going to used to be on a parking lot anyways, it has to be a developed site.
Okay,
A site with a business that has a restroom that they can use.
okay. So it has to have a
There's
restroom.
no
Mhm.
site that has a business on it still has to have so many parking spaces, so they can only take up so many of the parking spaces.
So it can't be a dirt lot.
So there's a
No.
lot.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like,
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that was a
There's a lot
concern
they
I
have to go
had
through.
was there's a lot out there, a dirt lot, and now it's got 20 food. Okay.
No,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why,
okay.
that's kind of why I said I don't think it's gonna change a whole lot.
Okay.
and like the wrecking bar, they utilize this quite a bit for the 1,000 feet, which I kind of like fudge a little bit on the 1,000 feet. We kind of did it as a test run to see how it would work, because since they're open late, the restaurants around them close early and then their patrons don't have anything to eat, and they would rather them get something to eat
Mhm.
before they go out and drive. And it's worked out really well. In fact, the police department, when they started, they were supposed to be out of there by 12 o'clock, and now they can stay until it's till 1:30. So, and there haven't been any issues, and so, but we do like temporary use permits for 6 months at a time. And then if we have problems, we don't reissue.
Okay. Are they limited? Does the 500 feet, is it during normal business hours or anything for a restaurant? Like, let's say a restaurant closes at 10.
So if it's something that doesn't work for that site, where we don't approve it. So they have to give us the date. Like I say, it's a temporary use permit. So
Yeah.
it's just like, then they have to give us all the details where they're gonna park and.
Yeah.
so does it work the other way too, that if the brick and mortar restaurant closes or is only open for breakfast and lunch? Would they have the opportunity to come in the evening? Or is that,
And not violate, but be within 500 feet, or are you just saying 500 feet from a restaurant?
period?
Yeah. Okay.
Out of curiosity, what's the distance for a city block here? Do we know?
oh. Downtown, I think it's a little over 300 feet.
Oh, wow. 500 feet is a lot. Okay.
1,000 feet is, I can see why they put 1,000 feet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, even if somebody got everything approved, I couldn't count on one hand probably the available spaces in town. Maybe I'm way off
Yeah.
on that estimate, but just thinking of the town, I just don't see a lot of options. Even if we go to 500 feet. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Yeah.
Okay.
The third portion of this text amendment is related to covered patios in backyards of single-family homes. So the building setback in the rear yard is 10 feet. And because of the small lots that we're approving and the houses taking full advantage of that, there are several neighborhoods that are building new houses right at the 10-foot setback. Well, if that house has a sliding door in the back, which most of them do, they have a landing or they have a patio that's built, and the home builder typically builds the cement patio, but doesn't build anything else with
Right.
it. So the homeowner comes in after the fact, wants to cover it,
Then they can't.
and we say you can't because the setback is 10 feet.
Okay.
And so what we want to do is enable them to go encroach to within 5 feet of the property line. So they could at least build something that would cover that, so it wouldn't be completely open when they
And
walk out the
shade
sliding
and all
door.
that stuff,
So it's
yeah.
a little bit of shade. So it's meant for shade. So the code would change it so that if you have an attached covered patio attached to your house, it can encroach 5 feet into the rear yard setback.
If it was detached, it would be able to be 5 feet.
If it was, yeah, that's the other thing.
Oh,
If it was,
yeah.
if it was detached, if it
Really?
was detached, it
Okay.
could, it can be within 5 feet.
I gotcha. Okay.
It can't be enclosed though, correct?
Cannot be enclosed, has to be open on 3 sides.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, that's a simple approval.
Okay. That's all three?
That's all 3.
I think we should open it to the public here. All right, we'll open up item number 7 to the public at 6:42. I waited this time.
Trying to keep you guys on your toes. Chrissy had asked a question, which, going back to the first item on here, the electronic signs, you asked a question that made me think, is there any way to ensure, like if there's a vacant property that isn't developed yet, to ensure that whatever sign may or may not go on there would not be in the way of future development? Or like, I don't know, if there's a way to do that, but, as far as placement or whatever, maybe those setbacks are already conducive to that. I'm not sure, but just,
We should have to do like a parcel, a split parcel or something to where there's only a small portion of it. Or something that might, I can't see like the billboard company wanting to have to maintain the property and pay for all that, but you never know. And then we're stuck with the property that. I feel like there's gotta be some sort of.
I think that,
basic, like,
well, for one, you do have the use permit process, so we can
make that finding though, and it's not gonna come and say, well, we have to make a finding and find the lawful finding. And then we didn't put anything in the ordinance, so we can't really.
I mean, we could put something in the ordinance that gives a heads up that we're concerned about this, you have to meet a certain standard of, like, if you're proposing on a vacant site, you have to show a conceptual site plan of how the site would develop. Do that.
Any emails or anything? No, you're fine.
So,
Okay.
so what she said, yeah, that makes sense, because one of the strips that I'm looking at is along Highway 41. But it's between 41 and I guess we call that 19th and a half. just south of the Chevron. I'd hate to see, a billboard goes up there and then, oh, well, we can't develop anything because there's a billboard there.
You talking about like, I don't know, is that, Mr. Peterson's land right there?
Yeah, yes. And the red on the right-hand side, the black mark is. Because that's his land too.
Commissioner, I think any person that owns that land is going to take into account.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to put a billboard up that's going to get me
Yeah,
minimal rent and not develop the property. But I know I get what you're saying. Yeah.
because they're gonna, whoever puts the billboard up is probably still gonna need access to it somehow.
Mhm.
So that whatever developing goes in there is gonna have to work around some of that.
Are billboards ever given their own parcel? Are they normally given their own parcel? Are billboards normally given their own parcel and then access?
Should we close public comment then? If we're,
Sure, yeah.
okay, sorry. Okay, close public comment, item number 7 at 6:46. There we go.
Um, you're not required to have your own parcel. We will require them to show the space, the on the ground space that they're leasing. Because that's usually in the lease documents anyways. Same is true for things like cell towers. What I often see is once that happens, then usually the assessor gives that piece a separate assessor's parcel number because they tax it differently. But I don't think it's a separate legal parcel.
On this same issue, how big is this Maverick sign?
900 square feet altogether.
So, and we're saying that the electronic sign can't be more than 600 feet high?
No, not
No,
600 feet high.
60.
I mean, no,
No,
I
the
meant
Maverick sign
from-
would be
from
taller.
the
Oh,
top of it
higher.
can't be
The,
any higher than.
yeah, the Maverick
600
sign I
feet
think
from the ground.
is 100 feet.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah. 90 or 100?
Is it that
I
high?
think so.
Yeah, so what?
No, these would be lower than
Okay, so
than the,
I was trying to think, where did I see that?
So it's basically going to be like when you're heading into Hanford on the 198. They have that electronic.
they have
Yeah,
one like
it'd
that.
be like
It'll be
that.
like
You'll see
that.
on your way back home,
Mhm.
probably. Okay.
Maybe it's 80.
Okay. Commissioners, discussion among the 3 items there? Any other comments or anything? If not, do I have a motion to approve item number 7 with all the text there?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution number 2025-03, recommending the approval of zone text amendment number 2025-01 in accordance with the findings in the resolution.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Brewer. Okay, we have a first by Echegon and a second by Brewer. We'll go ahead and do a vote. Clement,
Aye.
Commissioner Franklin.
Aye.
Commissioner Brewer,
Aye.
Commissioner Echegon,
Aye.
and I'm Commissioner Couch. I vote aye as well. Resolution passed. There we go.
You.
Right, number 8, Director's Report.
Okay. As you can see, Maverick is under construction. We have a
I've
few-
never seen a building go up that fast. I don't mean to interrupt. Did you guys see that?
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's all right. We're working with the owners of the project at Hanford Armona Road and 41. You've seen that before. It has a commercial along the Hanford Armona Road and then a apartment complex in the
Mhm.
back. That project was stalled because a portion of their site was deemed to have soils that couldn't support buildings, or at least habitable buildings. So they're gonna propose a mini storage on that portion. If you recall, we changed the ordinance to allow that with a conditional use permit, so we'll be bringing that forward. When it's ready to bring to you, I think we can get it for the next meeting. Also, two projects that we're working on in conjunction with county staff. The county is preparing a regional active transportation plan. And so an active transportation plan deals with planning for bikeways and pedestrian corridors. So areas where you want to have, where you're expecting more pedestrian activity than a typical sidewalk. So you want to do some things to enhance that. So, or you want to provide some infrastructure you don't have right now that would help pedestrians. So this is a regional ATP that's going to cover the entire county and the 4 cities. And so we're participating in that. We reviewed some maps just today of where they're going to propose bike lanes and bikeways in the city. We're also still working on the multi-jurisdictional housing element. As you know, the housing element has to be approved by the state HCD, Housing and Community Development. And we've gone through 1 round of checks with them and about to submit the second version. If we are dealt with the same way that most jurisdictions that are ahead of us have been, it usually takes about 3 to 4 checks before the state okays it. So we still have a ways to go on it. One of the things that not having that done is a negative is that the affordable housing developers are not able to apply for housing grants if we don't have an adopted housing element. So we want to get that done. Speaking of grants, we're told that we're going to be awarded 3 grants through the REAP 2.0 program. This is the Regional Early Something Plan. It's money to promote housing development. And so that's a state fund that gets distributed through the county to the cities, and the work that we do is supposed to be big picture things that will encourage housing growth, take barriers away, things like that. So the 3 projects that we asked for money for, 2 of them are planning projects and 1 is a public works project. Public works project would look for ways that we can enhance our well field up at the Kings River to increase its capacity so that we'd have more water for more housing. The 2 planning grants, one of them is going to focus on the interior of the city, on how we can not just allow infill, but actively promote it and encourage it. So if somebody, has a large lot and wants to build an additional house in their backyard, we want to do everything we can to promote it and encourage them to do it. So it's really trying to be prepared for when they walk in the door and come to the counter and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, that we have everything ready to go. We don't discourage them by saying, hey, it's going to be 2 weeks before we can give you an answer on how to do it. Like, we want to be able to have everything ready to go. The other grant is looking more at the outskirts, and it's kind of a preparation for a general plan update, looking for what kind of barriers are there toward more outward growth. Just as an example, you can think of the west side. You've got the Lemoore Canal there. That's a physical barrier. It's like, how is the city going to actually cross that? And if there's development on the other side, how are you going to be able to connect it to the rest of the city, circulation wise, everything else? And where will the major roads go, especially given that the roads that are out there now have a lot of rural homes on them. So that's just an example of the west side. We're going to look at the west side, the north side. We're going to look at the area around the college, and then we're going to look at the area on the south between 198 and Iona, where there's residential there, to see, okay, how can that be developed in a way that makes sense given what's already out there. So it's kind of a forward thinking way of taking a focused look on some specific areas so that when we do the general plan update, we already know what we want to do there. And it's funded by the state.
Do we know what the allotment is for that grant, those grants, or?
Yeah, the two planning grants total 270,000 and the engineering or the public works grant is 90,000.
Okay.
Let's see what else. We the two subdivisions that Lennar has along Liberty Drive that I think you've given a few extensions to, they're actively working, and I know we always say they're actively working, but they are actively working on getting those done. So we should be seeing some things soon on those. The tractors are out there, yes.
I actually asked somebody at Lennar last week, and they said, yes, we're doing it.
Yep.
We're getting it done.
They're getting it done.
Yeah.
Lacey Ranch. I don't know if you've read the paper about the Assimi company. They're having financial problems. We're understanding they are in the process of selling that to a different developer who is doing their due diligence, asking us a lot of questions. And so at least there's somebody out there that, wants to develop that. And then the last thing, I think Christy has a strategy for chair and vice chair at the next meeting. Okay, so we'll be dealing with that then. That's all I have.
Great. Thank you. And item number 9, commission reports, requests, commissioners. Comments, anything?
I just want to thank Mayor Matthews for coming and
Yes.
having somebody to ask questions besides us.
Resident, yes.
True. Resident Matthews.
Thank you. I want to thank the commissioners for 2 years of being the chair. I appreciate it, and I am ready to give up the gavel. So, and congratulations. We haven't had a chance to congratulate on the passage of the sales tax. So thank you to the citizens for doing that. And if you voted no, I don't take it personal, anybody, but it was so great to have, what is it? We were one of 30 cities in the whole state that didn't have it. It's great. The revenue's coming in, and it had a lot of backing on it. And so thank you. The city can do some good stuff with that and hopefully close some budgets and stuff with it. And with that, we will close the meeting at 6:58.